You can decide, you can choose who you want to be to the dot. I strongly believe that, and I live my life through that lens. Welcome back to the House of Legends podcast, where great women become exceptional. I am your host, Graciela, and in today's episode, by the way, this is our first episode together. I'm really thrilled, grateful, happy, and blessed to have you here. We're going to explore that idea. And also, I'm going to give you more details about this podcast, the intention behind, and I'm going to share also the background, some parts of my background, what led me to where I am right now, and it's going to be really an exciting episode. Let's dive in right away with the background. I wanted to bring this into the first episode because in most of the interviews that I've been holding for this podcast that you're going to witness in the following weeks, I've been sharing with my guests that many times we only see where that woman is currently right now, or we only see the success, the clients, the beautiful pictures on Instagram, Facebook, you name it, but we don't, most of the times we don't step back and ask ourselves, I wonder if, we don't ask ourselves questions about her journey. We think that she has it all easy, and that's why I'm bringing some of the turning points on my personal journey that led me to where I am right now. And I think it's important for you to know them, because it's so easy, like I said, to only see the final result or to see where the person is right now. With that being said, as you can tell, my first language is not English, actually is Spanish. My childhood was back in Mexico, actually from Guanajuato, Mexico. So my four sisters and I we grew up with mom. My mom, she's an angel, I will say, because she was able to raise 5 children, and all 5 girls, while my dad, he was working here in the United States. So that lasts, I will say, for 12 years until 15 years, 12 years, and 5 years of the process that allow us to come to United States. I came here in 2006, and without a word of English, I started this journey. But let me take you a little bit back. One of the biggest things that I don't usually share with many people. Back in Mexico, I used to be really, really shy, like really, really shy. Plus, I was really overweight. I was I never feel like I was bullied, but I think I was having the bigger bully inside my mind. I used to criticize myself. I used to cry. I remember most of the nights when I was coming from high school, what we call high school, or what we call middle school back in Mexico, because I was seeing my friends having more friends, and I was the only one that I was having just 1 or 2 friends, and it was not an easy journey, I will say that. Plus, on my early ages, I got abused, sexual abuse. I suffered from sexual abuse, what led me to isolate myself. So I'm just gonna picture that for you. And I'm not coming from a victimhood. I will say that is also important to bring those aspects, because now that I look back, I don't see them as disadvantaged. I don't see see them as something that oh, poor Graciela. I see them as part of my journey. And let me tell you, when I'm thinking about that girl, I think she had, and excuse my language here, the balls to move And I'm really proud of that at the moment. Well, moving to 2006, when I came here, I came with the idea of the American dream, right? I'm gonna come here, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go to university, it's gonna be really, really great. And I really appreciate that my dad, he did a lot. He was working that time 2 jobs in order to qualify for the income for 6 women to come to the United States. My mom and five was, right? So when we came here, first of all, the American dream, for me, it fell off right away. We came here 1 week before my graduation, what we call high school in Mexico as well. So when we arrived, my dad, he was working 2 jobs. We arrived to one of the houses, the house of my uncle, and my uncle's wife, she was working in she was cleaning offices, right? And she invited me, and I was like, I don't know what to say. And well, I said yes. I helped her for, I would say, 4 days. Those 4 days, I'm just telling you, I was really crying. I was crying because I was like, this is not the American dream. What is going on? And I remember specifically one of the nights that I was working with her. It was like midnight, and I was like, this day is supposed to be one of the happiest days back in Mexico. They're celebrating our graduation, and I'm here cleaning offices. What's going on? So I was really between full of this. I was discouraged. I was feeling sad. I was feeling anger, like all the emotions, right? But after those 4 days, they gave me like a $200 paycheck, and I decided just like I'm not gonna do this anymore. And then my dad, he rearranged the things to move my sister. I came with my sister, and my other 3 sisters and my mom, they were coming and joining us after a few months, right? After that. Anywho, so we went to my dad's place, and then from there, well, my dad, he did the best with his level of awareness. So the first job, the second job, I will say, it was in a supermarket. And when I see those girls packing the food, like I said, but it was in 2006. I was one of them. I was one of them. And I don't see them, like I said, as a victim. I'm not sharing this with you coming from a place of, look where I am. It's like life can change. Life can change if you have the balls, if you decide, right? So back then, I started working right there. And my English was really, really absent, I will say. I came here to the country only knowing 2 words, and I'm just going to share it with you because it's even sound funny. I was only able to say bye and I love you. Well, I love you is like a phrase, right? But that's it. So even working at the supermarket back then, 2006, it was really hard. I was really bullied right there. And one of the managers, she was actually from one of the Latin America countries, and she was really bullying me. And I remember specifically one of the moments where I was not able to say letters. I was like that, and I was like, and I felt really important, right? I felt really discouraged with myself, and people were laughing. One of the clients, and something started shifting. But thanks God, I know this. I'm going in details because this is some things that people don't know about me. Like people like think that, yeah, she has it easy, right? Back then, imagine not knowing nothing about English, discouraged because you thought about United States in one way and it was in a positive way. being overweight. I was really overweight. And I mentioned this not as a form of like I overcame all that. I'm bringing this because this is important to know for you and for me to remember that, right? So I was imagine all that combination. It was really, I don't know, I would say not that great. But thanks God, one of the managers, lady, I remember still her name, Jerry. She came and she said, you know what, I'm gonna let's put you in the on the if you want to be a cashier. And I was like, no, I can't. I was like, yes, you fucking can. It's like, and she did. Thanks God she did. And after that, I moved myself to the customer service with you, where you pay the bills and all that good stuff. So all that. And then I got promoted to assistant manager and all that stuff. While that was happening, the job side, I did have my first daughter. She had in 2009 with this relationship that it was chaotic relationship, I will say, because without any experience, not knowing nothing about myself, overweight, shy, not confident at all, I was actually craving for love, craving for someone, right? So I took the first relationship, and after 6 months, we got separated. So, but I was having my girl, and now I don't regret. I just like I think that was part of the journey as well of me learning myself. After that, after having my baby, I will say in 2012, I entered into another relationship, but I entered into a relationship also with neediness, with like now imagine I'm overweight, I'm working in this job that I don't like it. I was going every single day, crying, resisting, but I was still there, right? Anywho, this guy, I was the perfect match. I'm not gonna say that I was a victim, of course not, because he was like, if you want to be with me, you have to provide me this and that. So, and I was willing to do that. Anywho, I had two beautiful kids with him. Both of my kids are really my blessing. And in 2014, something changed. And I want you to pay close attention here because God, I'm not going to call it universe or source. God always has something really amazing for you. So back in 2014, when I gave birth to my little one, that now he's 9, his name is Adrian. When this guy came to visit me at the hospital, it was in December 24th, right? On the 24th. I was there and I was really swollen, right? Or you just had a baby that day. And he said, oh my God, you look really, really fat and all those things. And I was really like, you're supposed to be the one that is like loving me and praising me. This is our second child together. Anywho, and he said, but he gave me one of the most beautiful gifts, I will say, aside my kids. An idea came that day and to put myself in shape. And making the story short, from that day moving forward, I decided to put myself in shape with no knowledge of fitness, no knowledge of nothing. And by the way, when I gave birth to my kid, I was no longer working in the supermarket. I was no longer working there because one of my sisters, and thanks God she did that. She mentioned that we have this relationship. He was working for the company as well, and one of either me or him had to leave the job, and I decided to leave the job. So I leave behind 3 weeks of paid vacations and all those things. I don't remember the details, and I feel liberated for the first time. So, anywho, that it was back in 2014 as well. So that year, it was on August when I released that job, and in that year, on December, I gave birth to my child. And then the idea came of reducing weight, and he said, "Yes, I think you can't like, or if," and he said, or let's do something. If you reduce, back then I was like 205 pounds. And he said, if you release your weight, let's say 120, and you put yourself in a bikini. And I was like, and I want you to see it was really, really tight. Like, I don't want to see the loose skin and all that stuff. And I'm going to take you to Europe, because one of my dreams is, one of my drivers is always like travel, right? Anywho, when he said that, immediately I said, yeah, let's do it. And he said, if you lose, we're going to use your taxes money, because back then I was still receiving, right, for do the income that I used to have. And we're going to use that to renovate the house. And I was like, well, and it was his house. Actually, it was not near my house. And I said, yes, let's do it. So after that, something happens, girls. I saw myself right there. I saw myself in that weight. I saw myself, and I started doing the things. I would start taking action right away. So in the 24th that afternoon, I didn't eat the cake that they provide you at the hospital. I was starting changing my habits and all that. So it was very impressive that, without any knowledge, like I said, of fitness, nutrition, I said yes to myself. And then I will say early March 2015, I was down on, I was 145 pounds. And then through a conversation, I did attract my mentor. She's an ex-Olympia. Her name is Monica Ricardo. And she said, what is your goal? And my goal is 120. It's like, we can do this. Let's do it. So I will say by August 2015, I was, my weight was like 110, 180 pounds. I was really lean with no saggy skin. I was like, wow, this is a thing. And another thing that I did to motivate me in those days, where I was like, what's going on, right? So I bought myself a pair of shorts. There were 00. So back then, and I was just laughing the other day, because back then I was not able to fit on those shorts. Like, no way. But after a few months, like on August 2015, I was able to wear those. That is crazy, right? So after I won that, right, I was like, hey, when we're gonna go to the trip. And he said, I always believe in you. We're gonna utilize the money to other things. So something, I was really angry. But one thing, and I want to mention this episode, I looked myself at the mirror, and I was just, during this process, I think it was more focused on the end goal, that I didn't saw all the habits that I was changing, my self-image, my confidence. People were now coming to me to ask me questions and all those things, right? So anywho, I saw this goddess, this beautiful woman, more confident, able to go to the gym and killing it, you name it. And I decided to start putting myself first. And I remained with him a couple months more. And early 2016, I said goodbye to this guy. For him, it was like a shocking thing, but I know that he was changing, or the way that he was treating me was because of the way that I was looking at. Also, that he was really, really jealous. He was really treating my kids bad, because at that time he was the only provider at the house. So it was so much pressure, and I was like, I'm out, dude. So without like, I just brought my kids and the clothes that I was wearing, and that's it. My car was already mine, right? And I left him with all these things. Like, by that time, I put money and things to renovating the house and all that good stuff. But I was like, excuse my language here. I was like, fuck it, I'm leaving. So after that, I moved to my parents' house for a couple days, and then I rent my own place, and things start to change. So during this process, I started competing. I became a personal trainer, and during those years between 2016 to 2018, I also went to the dental field as well. So I was in between jobs. I will say here and there. and I was making some income here and there, and things were going good. But at one point, I was kind of, and I'm gonna go and share the stories in more detail in others episodes, but I was, I will say, no, fully knowing myself back then. So moving forward to 2018, I started working to this place, beautiful place, and the dental place, and I was serving people, but something inside me was like, this is not a thing. Like the same feeling that I felt when I came to the United States, like this is not a thing. It has life has to be is supposed to be more, not the Monday to Friday having the 401k. So I start to reading more books, the Miracle Morning, Tony Robbins, Jim Brown, all that good stuff, right? And between books, and I did attract in a few months, I will say early 2019, my first mentor, David Conway, and from there, life changed. Like and I'm getting really excited and because that man changed my life. He changed the direction of my life, and I think if you are here, you know that maybe you're investing, you already have a mentor. When I'm about to invest or I'm about to hire someone, I'm really, really grateful because that woman, that man is trusting me. And even if I don't trust fully myself or in that moment to make that leap, I borrow his belief. So this guy, he was really, really patient over the phone because I was not like this investment. It was like 4-figure investment. And it was like, I haven't invested that much in myself, but something inside me said yes. So I followed my instinct. In that year, I decided to let go of the dental place. And then also I went to my first seminar live in actually, if you know about this, if you're familiar with Bob Proctor teachings, I went and he was still alive. So we went with Sandy Gallagher. I met my mentor, David, another beautiful friend that is actually going to be in the podcast, Megan. I met her as well. So beautiful people. That weekend, I was like 3 days surrounding myself with millionaires, people that were living a different life. And it was no longer a fantasy. It was no longer like, yes, those are like scams or like it's not real. I was living that thing, eating in the same tables. Being in that frequency was really amazing. And actually, in that time as well, I met my first business partner back then, which I'm really, really grateful. And I'm grateful for this woman that believed back in myself. Um, I'm just really, really grateful. So I came back home and I start to, the one thing that I just want to mention as well, when you're do the change for you, move them, and you don't have to bring all the people. Like one of the things that I just recall back is that I was trying to bring my sisters, my uncles, and things like that. And people were like, you're crazy, you're losing it, right? So after a few months, I just decided just to go on my own. Like when I said on my own, it was like no longer convincing or trying to bring people. In 2000, I would say 2020, I start talking with this lady. Uh, oh my gosh, 1 second. I think we have cats here in the house. I'm not gonna cut this, but they're like playing around. Anywho, so I started having this like mini mastermind with this lady that I met back in the seminar, and she said, my husband, he's now a consultant, you want to be part of the team. So I started doing that during that process as well. And I enter into another relationship. That episode is going to be an exclusive episode because that person brought me on one of the lessons, the most painful lessons that a woman can go through. I'm not going to mention that part, but I'm going to do that in another episode. So I started investing and delaying things, like no longer going out that often, don't having the latest phone, the latest car. And yes, you can see here and there on my Instagram, right? But those years were like, my savings were about my savings, credit cards, loans. Like I put myself in debt a lot. And this man has a lot to do with that as well, but I'm not going to mention that here. Anyways, so I started working with this guy, and it was really amazing, but something was not fully clicking. I'm going to move forward to 2021. I did have an incident where I was blind. So I was blind for a couple of hours, and right there I knew that God was giving me another second chance to change, to move, to switch gears, right? So I decided to let go this partnership, and we finished in amazing terms. I decided to let go that toxic relationship. Like I said, I'm not gonna go in depth here. And I decided to go on my own, forming my own company. I was under my name. And then that day I contact actually my my first mentor, David, and I was like, where what are the programs that you have right now? And he said, like a mastermind, you want to be part of that? It's like a club, right? Like between sales and mindset. It's like, let's do it. That investment was 5 figures. And I just said, let's move. So one of the things that I'm sharing these details because I'm not coming from a rich background. I'm not coming from from a place where money was just like, right? But I decided that I was that kind of woman that I was willing to invest and to move. And I do have the fucking guts and balls to say fucking yes to myself. And even when things don't work that's the way that we wanted, we fucking move. 2022, another incident came where I invest with one person, and that person was not the I was coming really from fear, like the fearful, like if you want to go to the next level, you want to have to do this and that. And I didn't saw the red flags. It was not this mentor, it was another mentor, a female. And I'm gonna mention her name. And I decided say yes to her. And then after a few weeks, I told her, hey, this is not the thing that we said that it will be for me to grow and all those things. So she sent me her assistant. She was not even willing to speak with me. So I was getting kind of triggered. I was like, what's going on here? I put myself on more bed. So 2022 provide me a big lesson. Also, the clients that I used to have were reflecting that, right? So not making the payments, the full payments, people were not having ghosting me or things like that. So I decided to let go of my business and find myself again. So I started attracting people in human design and also to rebuild my business. One of the things that I said, and this is not about preaching or glorifying the hustle mode, is that I never stop. I never stop. And I'm not saying that you have to do this. I'm not saying this to put myself like, yes, the hero. I'm not the hero. I'm not the warrior. I'm the creator. But I never fucking stop. I did have the fucking guts, the balls to move. And all this happening while I was sick, because after when I did have that incident when I was blind, the doctor said to me, you have to be I have to remove all the physical activity. Back then I was still going to the gym 6 times per week and having a really strict diet. So can you imagine? And I'm saying God was actually removing some things in order for me to grow. It was removing feeling secure about having the amazing clients. It was removing so many things, including the gym, including having that. And put me myself in this spot of like, what's next for you? What are you gonna do with what you have? So that day I was really sad, but I put myself in the mirror again and I look at myself, it's like, I got you. I fucking got you. And I know my body is responding so well. And it's been almost 2 years and something and change where that incident came. And right now, of course, I'm just doing minimal activity, but my body has responded so fucking well. But that is due the way that I was approaching myself, the way that I was rearranging the things that I value for my life, right? So that I'm gonna do another episode about that because I think it's really, really important. So that year taught me about my health, taught me about the people that I want in my life, the people that I don't want in my life, what feels right, what doesn't feel right, what it comes from love, what it comes from fear. So I was learning so many lessons. And like I said, I never stopped. I was really showing up as well, showing up, even in those moments where I didn't have any income. So my dad, my mom, they were helping me. So there's always still in the people that were just coming for one call or something. I was reinvesting the money. I was always moving. All this while I was I was raising 3 kids. I'm raising 3 kids as well. So anyway, 2023, everything started to change. So new people, new clients, and new mentors as well. I never stop hiring people, even with that discouragement or disappointment. I mean, and it was 5 figures, guys. It was not like a dollar thing, right? So, and I mentioned this because if something didn't work the way that you wanted, have the fucking balls to say, you know what? I learned. I know one of the beliefs that I adopt from those experiences, like I'm always winning. Even if this sucked, even if it was like, oh God, what are you doing? What I'm learning from here, God? What is the lesson? Why I can turn this around? Why I can optimize shedding to goal? What is, I'm always winning, and you're always winning, even if it is a situation that feels like it's not helping you, you're always winning. You're extracting the experience. And when you see yourself as a creator, when you turn things around, man, all those stories, all those wisdom, the experiences are now the tools that you have together with, of course, um, with your craft to help others. And now you're not coming from a place of like, I'm reading one book or 2, 3 mentors, 4, 5 mentors. You're coming from a really solid place. Sometimes I used to question myself, like, why is this happening to me? And things like that. And I mean, they have all those things like, and even with this relationship that mentor is like, well, you know what? Thank you. Thank you, God, for bringing me those teachers. Thank you, God, because now I know what I don't want more. You know what I mean? So, and 2023, the House of Legends came into existence. I was working, like I said before, under my name, and now it's under the House of Legends by Graciela LLC, which I'm really happy about that. The podcast came as well. It was an idea, I will say. And I was like, just marinating this beautiful idea. And that idea, it didn't came from me, it came from God. I'm just co-creating with God. And that's why actually let me transition now to 2024. Now I'm bringing the most amazing, powerful woman, and I don't feel like intimidated. I don't feel like I'm bringing and what I'm gonna do with this and that. It's like I'm bringing them because I know we all have a legend inside. I feel like I'm a fucking legend, like, and without putting myself in pedestal, because you are a legend, but you have to unleash the power. You have to recognize what all those lessons, the wisdom. And once you recognize that, things start to change, my friend. So that was the backstory. Now it's where I am right now. One of the things that I've been redefining in the last few weeks is who's the clients that I want to bring into my life. What are the people that I want to say a fucking yes? People that I want to say a no without any guilt, any like explanation. So it's been a journey. And now the intention with this podcast, now this podcast is live, is to, like I said, bringing those conversations and also bringing you the behind the scenes. Who's the woman? Who's Graciela? Who's the one behind the business, right? And I'm going to bring also teachings about mindset, identity work, emotional mastery. During those years, ladies, like I said, and I'm remarking this, I think for the third, fourth time, I did have to grow my emotional intelligence. Like before any comment about my language, about my accent, about the way that I speak, any comment, any way like you look fat, you look short, you look whatever, you look blue. I'm just putting labels right here. I used to bother me a lot, and now it's like Fuck it. You're okay, you're commenting, you're a fan. Okay, cool. And when people say no to me with the offers or just like that, cool. Next. I don't get emotional involved. I'm not saying this is 110%. I'm also honoring my human, but it's like I've been going through a lot of things, like initiations, I call it, experiences, wisdom, that now I know who I am and the woman that I'm becoming. So this is the first episode, and I'm not only hoping, I know that the right people will enjoy it, and the people that are not, well, not. Right? Like I said, this is the vibe. This is the behind the scenes. And let me know in the comments. Let me know in the reviews. What do you think about this? I would love for you to provide me a 5-star review. I'm just like the information right here, right? But it's also important to honor and honor our work. All right, ladies, this was the first episode. The next following ones I want to be about either interviews or topics about mindset tools that are going to help you, and some interesting experiences that your lady went through and turned shit into gold. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week. Thank you.